أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 169, Surah Al-Hajj, ayah number 29 to 37. In the previous ayah we learned about لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ وَيَذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْلُومَاتٍ عَلَى مَا رَزَقَهُمْ مِنْ بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ. So after the animals have been slaughtered, then Allah says, ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا, then let them complete. Let them put an end to. تَفَثَهُمْ, their untidiness, their filth. وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ, and they should fulfill their vows. ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا. يَقْضُوا from the root letters قَاف, ضاد, يا, from the word قَضَاء. And قَضَاء is to make a decision about something. And this is done by qawl, and it's also done by fi'l. By qawl, like for example to pass a judgment, to make a decision. Like for example we have learned earlier in Surah Al-Isra, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. So that is what? A decision that has been made. Qadi is who? A judge who makes a decision. And through fi'l, through action, what does it mean? That when something is executed, when something is completed, when something is concluded. Like for example, we learned فَقَضَاهُنَّ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the skies, and قَضَاهُنَّ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ, He completed them into 7 heavens. Similarly, we learn that فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمْ مَنَاسِكَكُمْ, that when you have completed all of your manasik. So qada is done by qawl, and it's also done by fi'l. By qawl, what does it mean? To pass a judgment. By fi'l, it means to conclude an action, to complete an action, to do something. So ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا, then they should put an end to تَفَثَهُمْ, their untidiness. The word tafath is from the root letters tafasa. And tafath is untidiness. It's used in several ways. First of all, it is used for such mud, or such dirt you can say, that is on a person's clothes and his body due to travel. So for example, if a person is traveling, what will happen? His clothes will get dirty. Now for us it's not the same, because we get onto a plane and we get off a plane and that's it. But people who are riding their horses, who are going on their camels, or perhaps who are going in their cars across the desert with the windows down. So what's going to happen eventually? After some time, their clothes are going to get dirty. So tafath is used for such dirt that is on a person's clothes and body because of travel. Secondly, tafath also includes the extra pubic unwanted hair of the body, which should be removed. And tafath, thirdly, also includes grown nails. Nails that have grown. And usually when a person is traveling, then what happens? These 3 things happen. And tafath is a term which refers to the obligations of refraining from cutting the hair, or clipping of the nails, or wearing stitched clothing in the state of ihram. So in the state of ihram, a person is not allowed to trim his nails, a person is not allowed to trim his hair, and a man is not allowed to wear stitched clothing. A woman obviously is allowed, but a man is not allowed. So after the animal has been slaughtered, what should they do? ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا تَفَثَهُمْ, meaning they should put an end to their tafath. They should remove this untidiness. They should remove the ihram, they should trim their hair, or they should shave the hair off their heads, and they should bathe, they should change their clothes, they should trim their nails. What does it show to us? That if a person's nails have grown, this is not a sign of beauty. What is it a sign of? Untidiness and filth. Because tafath is what? Grown nails. We think growing nails is a part of beauty. It's not a part of beauty. Because who has long nails? Animals have long nails. And when a person has long nails, naturally what's going to happen? A lot of dirt and filth is going to collect under the nails. So it is a part of fitrah to trim the nails. The Prophet ﷺ said, there are 5 practices. 5 practices which are the characteristics of fitrah. And what are they? First of all, circumcision. Secondly, shaving the pubic hair. Thirdly, cutting the mustache short. Fourthly, clipping the nails. And fifth, plucking the hair of the armpit. This is recorded by Bukhari. So there are 5 acts of fitrah, which every person must do. Obviously some are relevant only to men, but others are general. So these are things that a person must do. So long nails and excess hair, what are they? They're impurity. And if a person does not care much about them, then he is walking around with impurity and filth on his body. So ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا تَفَثَهُمْ. After the animals have been slaughtered, they should put an end to this untidiness. وَلْيُوفُوا, and they should fulfill نُذُورَهُمْ, their vows. They should fulfill their vows as well. Nudur is a plural of nadr. What is nadr? Nadr is to make something that is non-wajib, that is not obligatory, wajib upon oneself, but with a condition. Do you understand? That something that is not obligatory, what does a person do? He makes it obligatory on a condition. That, for example, a person says that I am in this difficulty right now. I am suffering from this crisis. Oh Allah, if you take me out of this problem, I am going to pray 2 nafil every single day in gratitude to you. 2 nafil. Now, is it mandatory on a person to pray 2 nafil every day? No. It's a good deed. However, it's not wajib. So what does a person do? He makes it wajib upon himself based on a condition. If you remove this difficulty, then I will pray 2 nafil every day out of gratitude. So, وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ, they should fulfill their vows. Now, what are these vows referring to? Many times people, they make certain vows. That, oh Allah, if you take me for Hajj, I will do this and this for you. And when they do go for Hajj, they forget all of those vows. Allah takes them for Hajj and they forget about them. What does Allah say? وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ. All those promises they made, they should complete them. Like for example, a person says, oh Allah, if you take me for Hajj, I'm going to slaughter 3 animals, for example. I'm going to give this much in charity. I'm going to perform these many tawaf. So all of these promises that you have made, fulfill them. وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ. And also, وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا, and they should perform tawaf of what? Of بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ, of the ancient house. They should also perform the tawaf of the ancient house. وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا is from tawaf. Tafa yatufu literally means to go around. And remember, there are 5 types of tawaf. First of all is the tawaf al-qudum, which is the welcome tawaf. When a person arrives, then he performs the tawaf. When a person first arrives at the Masjid al-Haram, he performs tawaf. Another type of tawaf is tawaf of umrah, which is only limited to umrah. Meaning when you go to do umrah, the tawaf that is part of umrah, that's the tawaf that is referring to. Thirdly, there is the tawaf of hajj. Tawaf of hajj, which is known as tawaf al-hajj. It is also known as tawaf al-ziyarah. It is also known as tawaf ifada. And remember, this is an obligation. When a person is doing hajj, this is mandatory. Fourthly, there is also the farewell tawaf, which is known as a tawaf al-wida'. The farewell tawaf, which is when a person is leaving. He went for hajj and when everything is done, he's going back home. So before leaving, what does he do? Tawaf al-wida'. And fifth, there is the nafil tawaf, the voluntary tawaf. Let's say a person goes to live over there for a month. He's staying at Makkah for 2 months. Now he did Umrah. He went to Medina, came back, again did Umrah. But now every day he goes, prays 5 times a day. There should be more that he can do. So, what does he do? Tawaf. And that tawaf is voluntary tawaf. So over here, which tawaf is meant? Over here, what is meant is the tawaf of Hajj, which is the pillar of Hajj. Which is the pillar of Hajj. So, وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا, and they should also do tawaf. And this tawaf is done when? After the wuquf Arafah, after the Rami Jimar. So then people go for tawaf. But they should do tawaf of what? The house which is Al-Atiq. Al-Atiq is from the root letters Ain, Ta, Qaf. And Atiq means ancient. Atiq means ancient. That which is old. Very old. Abu Dharr radhiyallahu anhu, he said that, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which masjid was the first to be built? And he said, Al-Masjid Al-Haram. So he said, then which one? And he said, Baytul Maqdas. And I said, how long between them? He said, 40 years. So they were built 40 years apart. And we have learned earlier in Surah Al-Imran, ayah 96, that إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِعَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ مُبَارَكًا. The first house that was established for mankind for worship was which one? The one that is in Bakkah. And that is blessed as well. Secondly, the word atiq, it also means honorable. That which deserves a lot of respect. And thirdly, al-atiq is also used for that which is free. Or that which makes free. So it's a house, the Kaaba is a house that liberates people. From what? From the worship of other than Allah. And people worship who? Only Allah over there. And also it's atiq, it's free in the sense that no one can overtake it. No one can come and say, I'd like to buy this real estate. There are lots of people who come and visit, I'd like to buy this property. Can anybody do that? No. It cannot become the personal property of anyone. It's a free house. It's a free house. No one can overcome it. However, we learn from the ahadith that when the Day of Judgment will draw very near, the Kaaba will be destroyed. Up until then, it's a free place. However, when the Day of Judgment will draw very near, then the Kaaba will be destroyed. And also we learn that the Qur'an, the Mus'haf, it will be lifted. People will not have access to the Qur'an anymore. And this is a sign of the Day of Judgment when it's extremely close. Abdullah ibn Amr, he said that I heard the Prophet ﷺ say, Dhul Suwayqatayn from Abyssinia will destroy the Kaaba, and he will steal its treasure and kiswa. It is as if I could see him now. He is bald-headed and has a distortion in his wrists. He will strike the Kaaba with his spade and pickaxe. So basically he will destroy the Kaaba himself. And you can imagine the state of people at that time, that no one will stop him. No one will stop him. No one will be there to respect the Kaaba, to hold it in high regard, to consider it as a place that is to be respected and not violated. So you can imagine what the state of the people is going to be at that time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here that وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ, they should also do tawaf of the ancient house. ذَلِكَ, that. What does it mean by ذَلِكَ? Meaning, that is the obligation. This is what people are required to do. That they should do tawaf, and before that they should fulfill all of their vows, and they should also remove all of their tafath. So this is the obligation on people. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ, and whoever honors, whoever regards, حُرُمَاتِ اللَّهِ, the sacred ordinances of Allah, فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ, then that is better for him. Whoever yu'azzim. What does yu'azzim mean? It's from the word ta'zim. And ta'zim is to regard something as great, to give respect to something, to think very great of something. So whoever respects, whoever venerates, whoever exalts and dignifies the hurumat of Allah. What are the hurumat of Allah? Hurumat is a plural of hurma. And hurma is a sacred thing whose disrespect, whose violation is prohibited. So what is it? Something that is sacred. It could be an action, it could also be a thing. And hurumatullah are those things whose violation is forbidden. Particularly in the state of ihram. We're not allowed to violate their sanctity, especially when? In the state of ihram. They must be respected and they must be observed properly. And amongst them, first of all, is the Ka'batullah, the Baytul Haram, the Masjid Al-Haram. It must be respected. It must be honored. A person must not do anything that is disrespectful over there. And unfortunately, right now, people talk on their phones as if they're walking around in a mall. This is disrespect. That is a place that has been fixed for the worship of Allah, not for you to chat with your friends and family. So this is utter disrespect to the house of Allah. What do we learn over here? That whoever respects the house of Allah, the hurumat of Allah, then that is better for him. And if anyone disrespects the hurumat of Allah, then that is obviously bad for him. It's not good for him. So first of all, in hurumat of Allah, what comes? The Ka'batullah. Secondly, Makkah also, the Baladul Haram. the sacred city. Thirdly, not just the Balad al-Haram, but also the Shahr al-Haram, the sacred months. Even they should be respected. Even their sanctity should not be violated. Nothing that is not permissible should be done in those months. And it also includes all those things that remind a person of the deen, that remind a person of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all those things that must be respected because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated them. Whether it's a time, like for example the month of Ramadan, the month of Al-Hajj, or it is a place, like for example a masjid, or it is an object, a book, for example the Quran. So these are all hurumat of Allah, and they must be respected. So anyone who does that, فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ, then that is better for him. Meaning it will bring him more reward. It will bring him more reward. This is something very important that we must reflect on. Generally, what do we think? That when it comes to ibadah, it's a ritual. When it comes to the deen, rituals, just do the rituals and that's it. But what do we see? That along with the acts of worship, there must also be respect that is shown. Do you understand? That along with the acts of worship, respect must also be shown. And if a person is more respectful, then he will earn more reward. Like for example, if a person is reading the Quran, and he's just reciting quickly, he doesn't care about the fact that he's reading it properly or not. He doesn't care about what he's reading. He's not concerned about how he's sitting, how he sounds as he's reciting so quickly. Okay, he's doing a good deed, recitation of the Quran. However, because of the lack of respect, there will be less reward as well. The more respect there is, the more reward that will bring. Because sometimes people will do good things, but at the same time they will make fun of them. They will insult them. They'll say, oh, I don't really think it's that important. I don't really think it's that serious. They will pass jokes about it. This is disrespectful. So both are important, performing the ritual and also respecting it. Because they increase the reward for a person. وَأُحِلَّتْ لَكُمْ, and it has been made lawful for you. What? Al-an'amu, the animals of grazing livestock. Meaning they are permissible for you to eat, to slaughter, illa except ma yutla alaykum, that which has been recited upon you earlier. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 3, we have learned in detail that of the bahimatul an'am, which animals are not permissible. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةَ وَالدَّمَ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ وَمَا أُهِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ وَالْمَوْقُوذَةُ وَالْمُتَرَدِّيَةُ وَالنَّطِيحَةُ وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبْعُ. So all of these we have done earlier. So إِلَّا مَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْكُمْ. فَاجْتَنِبُوا, so avoid, الرِّجْسَ, the filth, مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ, of the idols. وَاجْتَنِبُوا, and also avoid قَوْلَ الزُّورِ, the false statement. So when you are in the state of ihram, when you've gone for Hajj, after that, when you offer your sacrifice, then make sure it is the right animal, which you know to be halal. And at Hajj and also otherwise, فَاجْتَنِبُوا الرِّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ, stay away from the filth of the idols. Al-Awthan is the plural of wathan. And wathan is used for an idol, an image. And this is different from sanam in the sense that wathan is used for such idols that are made of wood. And sanam, on the other hand, is made of gold and silver, a precious metal, something like that. So, فَاجْتَنِبُوا الرِّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ, avoid the filth of the idols. Which filth is this? Remember that filth is of two types. One is tangible and the other is intangible. Now, a person might say that this idol, okay, even if it's made of wood, it's not unclean. It's not filthy. It's physically clean. There's absolutely no bacteria on it. However, we see that many times when it comes to idol worship, there's a lot of filth that is involved. Like, for example, many times, the defecation of the animals is considered to be very holy. It's considered to be very pure. Or, for instance, blood is used a lot of the animals. So, yes, physical impurity is also there when it comes to idol worship. But whether that physical impurity is there or not, there is definitely spiritual impurity. There is definitely spiritual impurity. So فَاجْتَنِبُوا الرِّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ, stay away from this filth. And rijs has been used to dissuade us from the worship of idols and doing shirk completely. Because the mushrikeen of Makkah, they would perform all of the rituals of Hajj, but they would also do a lot of idolatry. They would also sacrifice their animals for who? For their idols. So that is being forbidden over here. وَاجْتَنِبُوا قَوْلَ الزُّورِ, and also avoid the false statement. Az-zur is from the root letter zai wa ra, and zur literally means to bend. And from the same root is the word ziyara, which is to visit someone. And az-zur is used for a false statement. It is used for a false statement, a statement of untruth. Because literally means to bend something. So when something is bent, does it remain proper anymore? Does it remain straight anymore? No. So a lie is also a misrepresentation of reality. So وَاجْتَنِبُوا قَوْلَ الزُّورِ. Now in this ayah, 4 things are mentioned. 4 commands are being given to us over here. First of all, what's the command that is given? What's the instruction? Honoring, doing the ta'zeem of the hurumatullah. Because when a person does that, that will bring him more reward. Now many times people go for Hajj, but they don't respect the place. They don't respect the times. They don't respect the ibadah that is going on over there. That is extremely necessary. Secondly, we have been told that the livestock that can be slaughtered is which one? Which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared as lawful for us. Thirdly, we have been told in this ayah to avoid the idols, to avoid shirk, to avoid idolatry. Because up until the conquest of Makkah, the mushrikeen, the polytheistic tribes, they had placed many idols inside as well as around the Kaaba. They had placed many idols in the entire area of Haram. And just in the Kaaba itself, there were 360 idols. So when the pilgrims, they would perform the tawaf, they would perform the rituals of Hajj, that would obviously be around the idols. Now remember that this is a late Makki surah. Okay? It's a late Makki surah, some parts of it. And very soon the believers were going to migrate. So they were being mentally prepared. Because Hajj was going to be made obligatory for them very soon. Hajj was made obligatory in the 6th year after Hijrah. So when they were to come back to perform Hajj or Umrah, or they were to come back and visit the Kaaba and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over there, what are they being told? That make sure you avoid this filth of idols. That you have nothing to do with it. Even though people are showing their respect to the idols, even if you are around them at that time, you must stay away from all such activities. That even when people are slaughtering the animals, they're slaughtering them at stone altars which are dedicated to idols, but you have to stay away from such. And later on, when Makkah was conquered, obviously, idols were completely removed from there. So, this has to do with the early part of the Prophet ﷺ's prophethood, when there were idols over there. But now, obviously, there are no idols, so, alhamdulillah, this command does not apply to us. And fourthly, what command is being given? وَاجْتَنِبُوا قَوْلَ الزُّورِ, and avoid the false statement, meaning avoid lies. Because many times what happens, when people are in a huge crowd, people don't really know them. If you want to sell something, you really want the other person to buy it, it's possible that people begin to lie. That, by Allah, I bought this for 20 riyal. So you buy it from me for 25, so I get at least 5 riyal profit. Whereas in reality, you bought it only for 10 riyal. So this is what? Qawl az-zur. Now just because a person wants to sell does not mean he begins to lie. Or for example, a person comes and he sees a nice empty spot. By the time he reaches over there, there's another person who comes and sits over there. So he says, by Allah, I came here first. No, you didn't come here first. So avoid the qawl az-zur, which becomes very common when there are lots of people and when people become greedy for good. And we learned that qawl az-zur, it's of the akbarul kabair. It's of the major sins. The Prophet ﷺ, he once said, shall I not tell you about the worst of major sins? And the Sahaba said, yes, O Messenger of Allah. He said, associating others with Allah and disobeying one's parents. And the Prophet ﷺ at that time, he was reclining. He was reclining and he said that the akbarul kabair are associating partners with Allah and disobeying parents. And then he sat up straight and he said, and indeed giving false statements. and indeed bearing false witness. So قول الزور, false witness, saying false statements, this is what? This is also of Akbarul Kabair. And he kept on repeating this until the Sahaba, they said, we wish that he would stop. So this is how major of a sin this crime is. قول الزور. So this is why we should stay away from these things. Because you see, sins, what do? They consume the good deeds of a person. Now if a person has gone for Hajj, he's put in so much effort, so much money, he's taken out time from his work, and he goes over there, disrespects the Kaaba, eats of the haram, and does something that will completely nullify his ibadah. What use is all of that effort? It's gone, it's wasted. So when you're doing something good, make sure you preserve that good as well. How? By avoiding the sins. By avoiding major sins. By avoiding shirk. By avoiding deceiving people. By avoiding lying. Because if a person does not do that, then all of his good deeds are wasted. حُنَفَاءَ لِلَّهِ, inclining only to Allah. Hunafa is the plural of Hanif. Meaning, as you are performing one ritual of Hajj after the other, as you are doing your Hajj, be Hunafa for Allah. What does it mean by Hunafa? That worshippers of Allah only. Being mukhlisin, being sincere worshippers. And this also includes being free of nifaq. غَيْرَ مُشْرِكِينَ بِهِ, not ones who are associating partners with Him. Because وَمَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ, whoever associates partners with Allah, فَكَأَنَّمَا خَرَّ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, it is as though he has fallen down from the sky. خَرَّ from the root letters, خَرَرَ خُرُور. And khurur is to fall down with speed and to make a thumping sound on landing. So khurur is to fall down with speed and also to make a huge sound upon landing. So the one who does shirk, it is as though he has fallen down from the sky. And as he is falling down from the sky, فَتَخْطَفُهُ الطَّيْرُ, so the birds, they snatch him apart. They catch him and they tear him up into pieces. تَخْطَفُ from the root letters, خَطَفَ. And khatf is to grab something quickly, to snatch something quickly and take it away. إِلَّا مَنْ خَطِفَ الْخَطْفَةَ فَأَتْبَعُهُ شِهَابٌ ثَاقِبٌ. So فَتَخْطَفُهُ الطَّيْرُ, that the birds, they snatch him, meaning they catch him and they tear him into pieces, tearing him apart. Because there are some birds, some big birds, what do? They hunt other birds as they're flying. They hunt while the prey is in air. So similarly, if a person is falling down, these birds, they catch him, and right there and then they tear him into pieces. أَوْ or تَهْوِي بِهِ, it falls with him, meaning it makes him fall, it carries him. Tahwi from the root letters hawawiya, which is to fall down from a height. الرِّيحُ, the wind, فِي مَكَانٍ سَحِيقٍ, in a distant, in a far off place. Sahiq is from the root letters sin ha qaf, and suhq is to be far away, to be distant. فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. So over here, what do we learn? That the one who does shirk, it is as though he has fallen down from the sky. When a person falls down from the sky, there are two options. Either something is going to catch him midway, halfway, then if something does catch him halfway, he's finished. Or the wind is going to blow him, it's going to take him to a very distant, far off place. What's going to be left of him? Nothing. Is he going to remain alive? Not at all. Is there any doubt about his destruction? Not at all. Can he survive? No way. This is the outcome of the one who does shirk. That when a person leaves the worship of Allah alone and turns to others, then he will have nothing but utter destruction. Utter destruction. Because all of his good deeds are going to be wasted, nullified. Now imagine a person goes for Hajj, he spends so much money, puts in so much time and effort. He goes over there and he begins praying to the Prophet ﷺ. He begins praying to the righteous who lived there once upon a time. He begins praying to the family of the Prophet ﷺ. This is what? Is it anything but shirk? It is shirk. So the one who does shirk, it is as though he has fallen down from the sky and he's been destroyed, meaning all of his good deeds have been wasted. Wasted. Just imagine there's a person who really takes good care of his health. He eats healthy, he exercises, he drinks a lot of water, tries to eat as much raw food as possible to make sure he's getting all the nutrients. And then what happens? He ends up in a car accident and he's finished. Now all that effort that he put in to maintain his body, it's gone. It's gone, it's finished. Will his good health benefit him? No. Will his eating healthy benefit him? No. This is exactly how catastrophic shirk is. That no matter what good deeds a person has done before, no matter what good deeds there are, of whatever level, of whatever sincerity, they're finished, completely eradicated when a person does shirk. All the reward is wasted.